Attention crew, this is the captain. Sit down and hang on to something.
You know, your coat is kind of a brownish color.
It was on sale. I'm Rick Castle. Castle. I really am ruggedly handsome, aren't I? I get a charge now out of excellent storytelling. And the show I'm working on right now.
I thought you were assigning me a rookie.
I am a rookie, sir. John Nolan.
Gives me a real charge.
Are you up for the challenge?
That's my job.
Oh my God, Nathan Fillion.
Is Firefly ever coming back?
How many San Diego Comic-Cons have you attended? It's more than 10, less than 20. I don't understand. What's worse?
Being locked in a room with Nathan Fillion.
Sounds like heaven. Sorry, I'm back.
So, welcome to Comic-Con. Hold for applause.
You know, if I would...
Hold. Okay.
Just want to say thanks for being here, Alexi. This is my first time doing a Comic-Con panel from my kitchen.
Yeah. When was your first Comic-Con? When did you first go at this point?
My first Comic-Con was, I was a guest of Joss Whedon when I just got Firefly. So that would be 2002,
Okay.
18 years ago.
You. So I want to start with the project that I'm sure you've been asked about at every Comic-Con, which is Waitress. Did you have any idea when you were shooting it how special it was? Because that movie really resonated with people, and it now it's a Broadway show.
I remember Kerry Russell and I looking at each other, kind of going, okay, Adrian's direction would be quirky. She'd say, yeah, this is great. A little bit quirkier, and then do it like this so it's even more quirky. We kind of were in disbelief sometimes with the quirkiness and it's reality, but odd. We trusted her entirely, and she had a clear vision. I thought it was going to be a quirky, fun little movie. I had no idea how it would resonate because It's so odd, quirky. I thought it would lend it to be much lighter, but actually it resonates in a very deep way with people.
So you were on Buffy?
I actually auditioned for Buffy the Vampire Slayer when it was, I auditioned to play Angel.
Oh, really?
I didn't get it.
Well, I went back and found a compilation of your scenes on YouTube, and it seemed like all you did was kick Sarah Michelle Gellar's ass in a wine cellar and look hunky. So, and you know, it's interesting to note that you sort of originated the hot priest look a decade and a half before Andrew Scott on Fleabag.
I combed all my hair forward into the classic, that was the look I guess I had for the first 15, 16 years of my life, was just combed forward. Just everything just plump, flat like that.
Anti-style.
It was like a blonde beetle, is kind of a sandy blonde beetle look. But yeah, it was, I would run around chasing Sarah around a set, and then they'd switch out her tiny little stunt double, and I'd grab her and throw her across the room, and then Sarah would get up and we tussle a little bit, and that was pretty much my job, knocking ladies around.
Yep, there you go. So when I'm watching that, I started wondering like how Firefly came about.
I'll tell you this, Firefly has been my favorite job I've ever had until The Rookie. Firefly and The Rookie now, I'm like, Firefly did a great deal for me. The Rookie is transformative as far as my life is concerned.
Oh, well, that's nice.
It's a slice of heaven. I haven't seen your face in too long.
How are you, sweet baby?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Call Alan Tudyk.
All right.
Hi, Joss.
Hi, sorry, man.
Don't be. How are you?
Master of technology, as always.
What's this? What's happening? What's happening?
Are you in the middle of something right now, or you're presently on an errand?
Well, no, we're shopping. My wife, but she's in a grocery store right now. So we shopped, and she's now doing some more shopping while I'm sitting parked illegally waiting for her to finish.
Let's do it. From your perspective, the projects you've done, the
Mhm.
ones that have resonated with people, the ones that people hold closest to their hearts. Would you put Firefly up there?
Oh God, yes. I'd say number one. It's definitely the one I get feedback on the most. And then I'd say right under that is a commercial I did in 1999 when General Mills dropped all the prices of their cereals, and I appeared in a commercial there. That fandom is huge, and that sits in their hearts. He didn't have a name, that character, but they just call him Stock Boy, and I've seen a lot of Stock Boy tattoos. He's just beloved.
It seems to me like you have been talking about Firefly. If you put together all the conventions and all the interviews and stuff you've done, it probably would equal around the life of the first run of the show. Is that weird to you?
At this point.
Honestly, you spoke more articulately to the press about Malcolm Reynolds than I did, and I will never forgive you.
That show is so resonant in people, and people come up to you all the time and want to talk about specific moments, right?
They do want to talk about specific moments, and those specific moments were, wow, a long time ago. But that's what it's designed for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what television and film is designed for. It's to capture those moments in time. Is to speak to you wherever you are in while you're watching it.
Was Firefly the introduction to the sci-fi genre? I mean, I felt it with the conventions, with the fandom.
Right.
That was the onset of message boards and all those kinds of collections. People were just starting to collect on the internet, saying, "Oh, we can gather here." That was my first kind of experience with all that, and now I'm in this genre. Did you feel a shift? Did you feel a difference?
I did. Well, just like you, when we went to the conventions and being introduced to a world I thought I knew that was like kind of poked fun at, and it wasn't what it is now for sure. And I was just introduced to the community, and then it's just grown over time.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never lose the Firefly fans. Once a brown coat, they're locked in. There's more all the time. There's always more.
And so what's really lovely about the legacy of Firefly is not only that it's like a good book. It's like any great book that touched you when you were when you read it, maybe you were 15, and then you revisit it when you're 25, and it says different things to you. It speaks to a different place in your heart and in your psyche. And Firefly does that. You have people who experienced it the first time who are now sharing it with their children, and they're feeling it. Their expression and their understanding of what family is has changed. And so the fact that it tends to grow with the fans, and that the fan base is growing as well, I think is quite an extraordinary thing.
Firefly is such a staple that if you're into fandom and you haven't seen Firefly, I feel like there's a little bit like, come on, you got to watch Firefly. You got to get a certain number of things under your belt if you want to come aboard. And Firefly is one of them. So I go to cons. I can't wait to go to another one. I miss them. And you put out pictures of yourself there. There's like, here's me in this show. Here's me as a robot. Here's me as a different robot. And then people have you sign whichever picture. And no matter what I have done since, a Star Wars movie is pretty big. There's a big fandom around Star Wars. Half of the things I sign are the pictures that we took on set when we did Firefly back in 2002 or 3, whichever one it was.
Sci-fi's been very kind to you over the years.
They have.
The genre?
And especially considering that I pronounced it sci-fi for like
You're talking about the network. I'm talking about the genre.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Heaven forbid you're not remembered. You know, you want to be remembered, but more specifically, you want to be remembered for something that meant something to someone, that like the word resonated. And I can't believe my good fortune. I mean, that experience for me personally was monumental just in my career. The opportunity to work with these incredible people. I've never been a part of something like that. It was intense and rewarding and incredible. Thank God that had meaning for me, it had meaning for others, and if they're going to remember something, thank God that that's one of the things I'll be remembered for.
So, Slither, did you have any idea how disgusting that movie was going to be when you when you said yes? Just how visceral it was going to be, and by visceral I mean full of viscera.
That was part of the idea, was like we're going to return to an 80s practicality vibe of practical effects rather than digital effects. I had all the information. I didn't know it was going to be that gross and that much. I learned a great deal. I read scripts differently now after that project. When it says exterior night woods for the,
yes,
the last 20 pages of the movie, you know, for about a month, you're going to be working nights in the woods, cold and rainy and wet and freezing, and never see the light of day. Right. When it's like, oh, covered in blood for how many scenes? Like, oh, okay. Now when you calculate that into time it takes, like, yeah, you think differently now. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Cooper.
How dare you?
Hey, Nathan.
Hi, buddy.
Looking good with a mustache. Look at that.
Thanks. That's new. Because I'm a cop.
Is that Alexi? Is that approved for next year for him for next season?
Not a chance. I don't think America's ready for that. Hey, I got Jon Huertas knocking on the door to this.
Let's let him in.
Oh, let's
let him in. Hey, Jon.
Hey, what's up? Is that Seamus Dever?
It is. I know we brought a lot of families together with Castle because we had the power to somehow be interesting to young kids and their grandparents.
We had a relationship with our audience that I think not a lot of other shows did. And that's why like the audience choice or the People's Choice Awards, we would, I know, do pretty well in those every once in a while because our audience was so engaged with us and so behind us. That was something that really was special about our show. And I think because, you know, Nathan, you know, kind of setting a precedent with engaging with the fan base. You had the brown coats that were a big part of your life. And so, you know, you showed us how important it was, not only as the actors, but the writers, the producers. You showed us how important it is for us to include our audience in what we're doing so that we can have a successful show.
The great thing about Castle is that it's what I'm always striving for now. Like every set I go on. And you know, I've had some really fun experiences. I've had totally crazy different experiences, but it's like getting to go to heaven first. Back down on earth, and it's like, well, this is kind of cool, but I really just want to go back. Like, I love thinking back on our days on set, and I love it's a joy when people say, you know, like on Twitter, someone said, my twin brother just introduced me to Castle and I'm watching it now, and I'm just like, you're gonna have the best time because we had the best time. Right. Like, you're gonna see that.
I get letters all the time saying, that show saved my life, or that show was the only thing that gave my mother any sort of relief when she was dying of cancer. And that was our time together, was watching Castle. That was our time where it was, everything else was evaporated and we could just live in that moment. But when I hear comments like that, like when I hear the value it has for someone out there that I don't know and I've never met, and it has a value that resonates, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more proud of being able to work with amazing people like yourselves. And I get amazing friends out of the deal. And then people look at me and my friends and say, thank you for the stuff that you did, you guys. I mean, I couldn't be happier. Right. Is there a greater job satisfaction?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when Dr. Horrible came out and how it was exactly what we were marching for, because it happened during the writer's strike.
That was the writer's strike. That was the response to the writer's strike.
Yeah, because it was the definition of the internet as a place where content would be. And I mean, did you know when you were doing it that you were sort of shattering, that you were doing that, or?
Yeah, I mean, me and Marissa and Jed and Zach, we all met on striking, and we're like, hey, we should have more. And I had been pitching. I've been talking to Felicia Day, and I've been trying to get together something to prove that we could do it without the studios.
I mean, did you know when you signed up to do it what it was going to be?
I was very aware of where it was going, and very interested to see how television was going to make that transition. And it was the conversations we were having at the time as we would discuss it. It was very interesting. I was talking to, I remember, agents from prominent agencies in the city saying, yeah, but it's the internet, and discounting it because it was the internet. Somehow that was a wall by which entertainment's not going to go past this wall. I'm actually just about to cancel my cable service. I never watch it.
Yeah.
I actually pitched them to Jeff Bezos at Amazon. Like, I pitched one that I ended up writing a treatment with Jane Espenson for. And the third, I had 3 pitches, and the third one was like, and here's something I know you won't want. It's called Dr. Horrible, Sing Along Blind. Nobody was ready to make any kind of commitment.
Right.
And I was like, "But you guys Mavericks?" Like, and so I was, I'm just going to pay for it myself. But by the time, we got to shooting it, we were all back at work. So yeah, we felt very good about like the powerful statement that we made several months after the strike had ended. We put it out very specifically as an event, like we released one, and then 2 days later the second chapter, or 2 days later the third, so that people would experience it at the same time, because that was kind of going away. And just say, look, we can create old-fashioned, water cooler events without any of the bells and whistles, you guys.
But I mean, still, it changed a lot of stuff, and I think it also set up the model for a lot of stuff, which still kind of runs to this day. So, it's a weirdly a little piece of my history that I only have happy memories about it. So.
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk is an incredibly talented actor. He amazes me all the time. He is more than that. He is a writer. He is a director. He is a producer. He has vision.
Can I ask you about comment?
Sure.
That was the first thing you had sort of created, right? And written and all that kind of thing.
Yes.
Did you love it? Did it almost kill you? Both? Like, what was that experience like?
Yes, I loved it. It almost killed me. Right after we launched our Indiegogo campaign and raised the money to make it, and we had said we're going to start shooting on this day, and the wheels were in motion, and we were starting to cast, and I got Star Wars Rogue One. I was offered the role by Gareth. It's so crazy at the time. He's like, I would like you to play the role of K2SO. And I said, great, as long as it doesn't happen in June. I've got a web series I have to do. So we shot it, and then I went to shoot in London, and I was editing while I was shooting Rogue One. Go to work early in the morning, shoot Rogue One all day long, and then come home, get edits, do all my notes, at work till 2 a.m. on the edits. It was insane. And then we finished that, went straight into season 2.
So you meet and work with Alan Tudyk. He's a lovely man. You guys remain friends. He calls you up one day and says, I have this idea, and I'm going to make my own TV show called Con Man, and I also want you to be in the campaign video for it. What do you say?
Yeah. What do I do? He was so cryptic. Alan Tudyk was like, yeah, I really want to have lunch with you. Let's get together. Let's have lunch. It's like, okay, yeah, absolutely. Why haven't we done this before? Sure. So, we meet for lunch, and we talk a little bit, and then he sort of launches into his pitch. And I just remember, looking at him going, Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. How are you? What's going on?
I was nominated for an Emmy the second season in the short form category. I did not win.
It's an honor, just
but that's okay. It is an honor. I did not leave the Emmys that night feeling like a loser. I felt like that night the Emmys lost. I mean, ultimately, I feel like everybody. No, I did. If I had one, which again I didn't, I was going to in my thank you, obviously thank you, Nathan and PJ and my wife, and to say that that it had started as a fan, a crowd fund, and I owe it to 47,000 people that this is even a thing. And I would like to now take this time to list them off by name, each one of them. Come on. I didn't get through one of them. That was my goofy plan to thank the fans.
Sorry, I had to push this a little bit. I was like in the middle of a job and I'm sweating. And what? I didn't have pants on.
Yeah. You still don't have pants on.
I mean, not that that's necessary.
Yes. We're living in an above the waist world.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very proud of what we together have built and continue to build and continue to nurture at The Rookie. I'm incredibly proud of that.
Yeah.
Which is what you say all the time, Nathan, about like for the first time being in a space where you realize, like, when you look back on things, sometimes you have 20/20 vision and you realize, man, that was an awesome time. I should have appreciated it while I was in it.
Yes. Being in the perfect position and knowing you are in it at the time. Because it's easy to look back at your life and say, I was in a great spot. I was in a great position at that point, but I didn't know it.
Right.
Right now, I have the presence of mind to know that I am presently in the perfect position. Yeah, you're right. I do say that all the time.
Yeah, I love it. It's true. Yeah.
So I'm interested in sort of the idea of the ensemble versus the lead, so to speak. And I worked really hard when I created The Rookie to make it as much of an ensemble as possible, because I promised Nathan that he wouldn't have to work that hard. But I feel like Firefly is one of the true ensembles. Is that a different set experience clearly than on a show with like a single lead kind of experience where you just feel like you're furniture a little bit?
Ultimately, I don't see how you can have a successful show without expanding the world beyond the lead. Because first of all, it's too many hours of television, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like it's a movie where you spend this finite 90 minutes, 2 hours, and you're seeing the world through the eyes of this particular character. When it's a television show, I mean, you're on a ride. It's a long arc, and no one is that interesting. No one single character, no matter how well it's written, you learn more. Ultimately, you learn more about your lead by how they're spoken of, how they interact with the other characters around them, the world that they're in. So, I'd like to believe that every major lead show becomes an ensemble show eventually, some sooner than others. Because that's what's interesting.
You both came and did an episode of The Rookie. How'd you like it?
It was fun. Yeah, it was. I wish I.
Hold on.
That scene together. To be honest with you, I think that's
to John's
the
point.
Success of any show is if you can have
John, what's up with your Wi-Fi? Every moment there's yeah.
Did I freeze? I froze a couple times.
Yeah, you freeze. You freeze it all day.
That's part of the new now, guys. It's
new now.
What is your setup? How good is the quality of your camera, your lights, your sound, and how's your internet? I mean, this is the new normal.
Got to upgrade, John. He's fake frozen.
And John is frozen for that.
Yeah, you could get an Emmy for that, fake frozen shit.
That was a good one, right?
Good at that. Yeah.
But I did love Seamus's.
Seamus was pretty good. That was a fun. Fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was great. It was great to be, just be able to, it just felt like old times, I guess.
Yeah.
Will you consider coming doing an episode of The Rookie? Or 4?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. But
all right, that's all I need. Click. I gotta go.
No, you have to promise you'll actually be there. Because when I came onto Castle, you bailed.
Lexi?
Yeah, I would not. There's no way I would bring you on the show and not write you into Nathan's story. So yes, I promise you that. So, and he won't be able to bail.
Alexi, we tried to get Alan on Castle at one point. And
oh, God.
Because Alan is
more than one.
Incredibly employable and always busy. And
we got lucky on The Rookie, though, and we got him on The Rookie.
We finally locked you down on The Rookie, yes. I mean,
and I'm still alive.
My
character did not go to jail.
He didn't die.
He didn't die. He kind of had a little love interest budding.
A little romance. We should. I say we should revisit that.
100%.
And I had this idea that that event in your character's life was so transformative that he became like a self-defense teacher and actually quite a formidable guy, actually.
That's right. Yeah, Kung Fu now.
That was my idea. That's my pitch.
I like it. Except he crutches a lot on the whistle. As a tool, it's a good initial volley. Don't make me
whistle with the kazoo.
He's got hands that are lethal weapons, but he really likes to start it out with just alerting everyone around him. Help! Help! Don't make me use these. I'm going to hurt somebody.
What was something that surprised you guys about the industry, saying, oh, they didn't tell me about this. I didn't count on this part in the beginning.
Besides pandemics.
Pandemics.
Alexi,
I mean, for me, ultimately, it was you got to be good in a room. I mean, nobody told me that when I first started writing. I thought, oh, you got to be a good writer. And then you get in there and you got to pitch a story and you got to,
you're a salesman.
And you got to be charming and people got to like you. And I'm not an extrovert. And so that was a learned skill. But I mean, for me, the thing that made it easier was having kids. I've never been in this business without kids. Like, I have 4 and, and it's basically you're telling a bedtime story because, the attention span's about the same, and so, you got to go in there and you got to tell them a story. And once I got that, it got a lot easier.
So we can start off with auditioning. Auditioning is a whole skill, I feel like, in itself. I personally had to realize that it's not just about what you do when you're in front of the camera and you're playing the role. It's as soon as you walk into the room, you are on. So people also want to know, like, are you the type of person that I could get along with? We're going to be working with each other for, maybe 6 years plus, who knows? I need to know that I can work with you and we can maybe be friends or whatever. So that was like a learning curve for me.
Anything unexpected for you, Joss, that you thought, I never really knew?
I mean, honestly, I remember saying, somebody had a questionnaire, was like, what's one thing you never thought you'd hear yourself saying? And mine was, I love actors. Because I came in thinking I wanted to make, like, so let's say The Terminator, like an extraordinarily tight story, incredible action, great premise, a lot of heart. And I was like, I want to be in the miniatures and special effects and blah, blah, blah. And the actors, they're going to be troublesome and I won't get my vision. And then the first time I was ever directing, I was like, oh, I just want to be in a room with 2 actors doing their thing and watch that. Everybody knows that I'm one of those pathetic wannabe actors, which is useful only in the sense that I say everything I write. So I know if it can't come out of a human mouth, like if it just sounds idiotic, but But also just, I did think like actors would be a different, I'm a writer and hopefully we have one day a director, actors will be, a problem I have to deal with. And they were the reason I showed up.
Then there's just the stuff like, you gotta hit a mark. And you gotta make sure that you're not blocking someone or you're not being blocked and you're in the light. Like there's so many other factors that go into acting on television that you're not taught in school, in theater, or any of those things. So yeah, it's sort of the logistics of everything that I would like to actually start a course on that, because a lot of people don't realize it.
I've thought about that a lot. Acting with distraction. I think an acting course should be, now do that same piece, but from start halfway through with this guy in front of you, this guy holding a light, someone over here, and don't do it to your scene partner, do it to a tennis ball or to a piece of tape inside the mat box.
I learned every day. I think I came in like a sponge, being very aware that I knew nothing. And I'm very comfortable admitting that I know nothing, and I still feel that way about other jobs. Of course, it's different, but I think because you were such a great leader and teacher, it was very easy to come in and ask questions and not feel pressure to know more than I did. Everyone helped me feel like it was okay not to know, and that it was okay and encouraged to ask questions and to make mistakes, only once or twice, but that those were okay.
Yeah, you were always very willing to make mistakes, which I find very admirable and freeing, because you don't know if it's going to work or not until you try something. And you were always very willing to put yourself out there and to be vulnerable and to expose yourself and just kind of just say, I'm going to try this and give it a whirl. And your instincts were always amazing.
They got better. They got better.
Instincts were always amazing.
Thank you.
You were my first experience really understanding what it is to be tough, what it is to be strong. You play strength and you never stop being a woman, first of all. You never pretend to be a man. Mm-hmm. And you never, what is it? How do you, I don't even know what it is you're doing when you are being strength, when you're being strong.
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. I believe that a woman's strength comes from being a woman, and not by trying to outman a man.
There is a part of me that always feels like sometimes women do a disservice to themselves by not being a woman. You know what I mean? Because we are tough in different ways.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have found that if that's not true to who you are, then men see that and they go, well, that's not really them. So they already go into defense mode, or I'm not going to listen mode. You know what I mean?
To tap into what is our strength as women, to me, was incredibly liberating. And it was also it was written strong. And I had to trust Joss's words. I had to trust the world that we were in and inhabit the world that we were in, and have that be enough. I mean, we had you. There was no way I was going to out testosterone the Jane character. You know, we had the Haley character who, I mean, she was a child who was a genius with machines. In order to really fulfill this balanced universe that we were in, we had to bring ourselves to it. And so it just made sense that the universe, such as it was perfect. All I had to do was take my space in it.
One of the concepts that I have learned that if I try to pass on to anybody when they're talking about doing comedy is it's very, very hard to make someone laugh. It's very easy to let someone laugh at you.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, it's just a concept, but if you understand it and can can program it into what you're doing, I think that's a major victory.
Well, look, I mean, I've said this before, maybe even to you, that, you know, your ability to be the butt of a joke is rare, you know, in terms of leading men, right? Because, you know, there's a lot of people who are very protective of the way they come across, and but yet there's such a vulnerability in it that makes audiences like you. I mean,
humanizes you.
And but yet there's people who just they just can't go there. But I think it's, you know, you're right. I mean, it's so the ability to laugh at yourself and to be laughed at and still be truthful to a character.
Yeah, it's that Schadenfreude. It's wonderful watching you guys suffer. It's one of my favorite things.
Wait a minute. That sounds mean.
It does sound mean, but it's actually, I think part of my success in acting. I think it's really hard to
making me and Seamus suffer has made you successful.
And also that's true. Yes, actually that's true. But yeah, if a character is suffering, we like to watch that. It's that Schadenfreude thing of. And you guys would suffer, and you guys would suffer at the hands of Castle, and you guys would get in between a fight between Castle and Beckett and not want to be there. I find you guys very entertaining, and nearly to the point of distraction when I'm working with you, because I'm watching you going, this show's going to be great. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's my line.
I will say, I believe pretty much at least once a week the entire time I was working, I got... Mekia, have I told you how much I like working with you? Mm-hmm. That would always bring me so much joy.
Yeah.
There was one time that neither of us knew the scenes that were coming up. I believe it was the next day. And it was kind of a lot for both of us. So we were like, okay, why don't we just start going over it now? And we started to go over it. He looked at it once and then started doing it from memory. And I was like, how does he do because I cannot do that.
Wait, I have to say, one thing that you did that really helped me and has helped me immensely moving forward, and I always wondered if you did it on purpose, but you started asking me early on, I think I remember like season 2 or something, you would say, what's my line? And I would like tell you whatever the line was in the scene. And it got to be something where you would check with me. So I started memorizing like the scripts fully. and I never knew if it was just something that you were just casually actually asking me or if I needed to know, but it's been something moving forward that has helped me understand script structure better.
You taught me how to do exposition right. I didn't know how to do, it was always a failing of mine. I didn't know, you guys made me understand the purpose and how to do exposition so that it actually means something. It's the part of the show where we remind the audience where we are. And here's the part, and here's the story you need to know that we're not going to show you. We're just going to tell you. You guys had a way of making that so palatable that I now know it without knowing, without paying attention. I know you have an opinion about it. I know it matters to you. I know why. And you guys were very good. You taught me a great deal. I enjoyed it.
It's funny when I tone with directors, when talking about Nathan, I'm like, he knows if what you're shooting is not going to end up in the show. That, you know, he's a very smart actor about, you know, angles and shots. And he also doesn't need a backstory for a note. If you faster, slower, warmer, colder, like, just tell him, you know, so, which is a joke.
It used to be like 20 minutes of, but then in her early adolescence, blah, 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 and like long pause. So slower. So I'm just like, I learned it.
Jon and Seamus were also very good at.
I'm sorry, you froze. Can you just say that part again, really slowly and loudly?
Jon
Zoom
was always very good at discovering funny bits, discovering the real life, discovering a flavor, the lazzi, they call it, the stuffing between the lines. They were also always very good at, the discovery, let's do this. Actually, it would be better for you if, right, you do that, I'll do this then. Perfect, okay, and now it's done. It would happen so very quickly. We come up with funny things with a little twist. everybody had it was so satisfying to come to work and just hit the ground running all the time with guys who could always keep up.
This is what happens with Nathan. We are on a call about Nathan, and he makes it about everybody else.
Well, honestly, that's actually, to be honest, that is the end-all be-all of my day, is who I have to spend my days with and who I'm working with and what we're doing and what we're accomplishing together.
You can work with someone and then you can collaborate with someone. Right. And working with someone is really fun. But when you get to collaborate, when you actually know that person's building a part of the world that you didn't see as clearly till they were there. That is the greatest gift of collaborative art.
I was telling Nathan yesterday, he collects people as he goes through the world in such a wonderful way, that you can see his career and his friends, where a lot of people don't do that. And a lot of people, you work with somebody and then you never see him again or whatever. But, Nathan is such a genuinely empathic and sort of inviting person, and so generous, not to say too many nice things about you, but it's really sort of, it's been a pleasure for me to sort of have been through the Castle experience with you guys, and then obviously now with the Rookie, and just to, stay part of his life.
We have hung out as a cast.
Yeah.
I think more than any other cast I've actually worked with.
Right.
Yeah.
For that we have the amount of time. For that we have to thank conventions that we go to. We get to share and hang out. Little events, birthday parties and whatnot between ourselves. And this.
Yeah.
I remember a monumental Pictionary night right as we were starting to film Serenity.
Yes.
At my little house over just off Ventura Boulevard over there. It was sushi and wine and people yelling and screaming and just the cacophony during a Pictionary game. I just looked around the room and said, "Oh my God, we're all going to make a movie in 2 days." I remember saying that. That's just good time.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good. That was super good.
Honestly, the gypsy nature of our, even though you've been with someone for 7 years on a show, like the fact of we are so close, goodbye. Now we are so close, goodbye, is something that still startles me. But I am more surprised, and by the fact that we still have a thread with the cast, that you always start and you always keep going, and you're always the host, and you're always finding out who's in town, and you're always, you've kept the team together. I almost want to say like a captain, but maybe say like a rookie, because I feel like I'm taking up too much air.
To some people, you'll always be Malcolm Reynolds, or you'll always be Castle, or
Yeah, characters that resonate, characters that inspire, characters that we feel, I think, connected to and safe with. I think my greatest strength is putting myself in the best hands. I have been very fortunate, as you know.
Well,
you guys here are very, very responsible for the trajectory of my life in its entirety. It's amazing what you two have done for me.
I can't imagine how you manage to keep a normal day-to-day life when you are such a star. That's, especially a TV star, where people just assume you're in my living room, so you're my buddy. Have you ever been I can't live, I've lost a certain part of my life?
I'm what they call perfect famous. No one chases me with cameras, and I occasionally don't have to wait in a lineup. People see me and go, "Oh, you're that guy. I love you. You're great." They think that they assume that I'm nice. I'm perfect famous. It's just exactly. Some people say, "I want to trust you." Sometimes they're wrong, but.
That investment scheme, that's not coming. That money's not coming back, is it?
It's never coming back. It was. I think we all knew that when you gave me the money.